Our speaker tonight is Commander Daniel Straub. Commander Straub grew up in Wilmersdorf and graduated from Conrad Weiser in 1983 and has been serving in the U.S. Navy on active duty for the past 32 years. He holds a bachelor's degree from Penn State, a master's degree in international relations from Boston University, and a PhD in national security affairs, security studies from Naval Postgraduate School. One of Commander Straub's most recent assignments was as commanding officer in the USS Ingraham FFG-61. While in command, he executed a combatant transnational organized crime deployment in support of Operation Martillo, a multinational effort countering the flow of narcotics, trafficking in persons, and criminal activity off the coast of Central and South America. He is currently commanding officer of Littoral Combat Ship Crew 208 and the future USS Montgomery LCS-8 to be commissioned this summer. Commander Straub is married to his wife Janet. They have two sons, Mark and Sam, both currently attending universities. So now please welcome Commander Dan Straub.
Thank you, Superintendent Grove, Principal Galtieri, faculty, alumni, distinguished guests, fellow veterans, and thank you, high school class of 2016. It is an honor to be here today. I have to say, I never thought I would be here. I made a lot of mistakes. I got in some trouble, and there are some faculty here who remember me getting in trouble. Is Mrs. Brewer out here somewhere? All right. Some people thought that maybe I would have crashed my motorcycle by now. One of my best friend's father actually said, "Hey, I thought he'd be in jail by now." My goodness. Anyway, I did get in some trouble. One of the things that I found was it was my spirit, my sense of adventure that I think kept me getting up, getting through it. And in retrospect, I'd like to think that I was persistent. Maybe it wasn't just a misadventure or a sense of misadventure, but I was persistent. And with that, I want to share you what I hold to be my favorite quote, and it's from President Calvin Coolidge. "Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more uncommon or more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, 'Press on,' has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race." On August 29, 1983, following graduation from Conrad Weiser High School, I was at a David Bowie concert in Hershey, Pennsylvania. 3 days later, I was meeting my boot camp company commander, Chief Petty Officer Redmond, and by meeting, I mean he was screaming at me and telling me how worthless I was. Most of my friends were going to college. One of them actually went to the Naval Academy. I didn't have the grades or the discipline. And frankly, it's a good thing I didn't go because I probably would have had a tough time. While others were doing their homework and getting good grades, which is admirable, I was doing dishes at a restaurant in the Berkshire Mall. And I was earning money so that I could pay for the gas in my 76 Pinto so I could get back and forth to do dishes at the mall. Without realizing it, I was going nowhere, and that's the plan I had put in place. So when a friend of mine told me he was going to go join the Navy, I said, "Let me go with you. I'll show them. I'll be the fooler. You know, everything they say is great about the Navy, I'm going to tell them a bad idea about." So next thing you know, I'm signing on the dotted line, and there I am at the David Bowie concert. 3 days later, I'm in boot camp. Long story short, it's been a long, it's been 32 years. It's been a lot of sacrifice. It's been a lot of work, but that persistence has also paid off. I believe, and I truly believe, I have the greatest job in the world. I can't think of a better job than being captain of a Navy warship. It's just, to me, it's not only fun, but it's just frankly good. And I love my job. I love working with my sailors on a daily basis. And anybody who tells you that the sailors of today, let's use these different things, millennials or generation differences. The millennials are the smartest generation. The sailors I get in, these folks are ready. They're smart, they're innovative, they're ready to do the job. It keeps me on my toes, and I love it. My current command, the future USS Montgomery, will be commissioned this summer. It's an amazing ship. If you get a chance to look it up, LCS-8, the thing does greater than 50 miles an hour. It's 420 feet long, 3,500 tons, and it's got 4 water jets for propulsion. And this is innovation at its best. This is America working with some foreign companies to make a ship that is ready to do the nation's bidding. However, having had command of another ship, USS Ingraham, I know that it's not the pieces of metal or the piece of metal or the building or wherever you work, it's the people with whom you work. Those are the people that are going to make the difference. It's their attitudes. It's that band of brothers and sisters that you're working with. I don't care if you're in an office or on a warship. At the end of the day, they're who are going to get it done with focus, with commitment, with determination, with persistence. All those things that Calvin Coolidge was talking about. During that deployment, we captured 9 vessels. We captured 29 suspects. Until they're prosecuted, they were suspects. And we got more than $550 million worth of cocaine. That's 26,500 pounds of cocaine. It's a big pile of cocaine. You can be sure I have a picture of it. I put up on it by Captain Morgan. But fun stuff. You know, I love my job. But again, it was the sailors that made the difference. They're what made it happen. It's their attitudes, it's that persistence, it's their willpower. The thing about things is, the grass sometimes seems greener. You know, and I talk about persistence and willpower, but I talk to a lot of folks also who tell me, you know, veterans, when I talk about being in the Navy, they say, I wish I'd stayed in. Well, you know what? If you'd have stayed in, you might not have been there for your daughter's first steps. You might not have been there for this graduation. I missed a fair share of things. I guess what I'm getting at is changing one thing can change everything. It's a butterfly effect. It doesn't necessarily mean it's worse. It doesn't mean it's better. It means it's different. You've got to make the best of where you are. And so when people start playing that grass is greener game, I'm telling you, the grass is greenest right where you are. And just because there are good memories through hardship, you know, all the time at sea, I've got more than 11 years at sea of my life gone, you know, somewhere else. And, you know, that doesn't mean that it's gone. I mean, I've earned experience. Life is not a zero-sum game, you know. You don't take away something here and put it over here. You can gain experience, and that can definitely help you, obviously. The key is allowing the current experience to test your character and define who you are and what you are and where you will go. Marcus Aurelius believed that all we have is right now. Nothing else matters. Nietzsche wrote that each decision we make in every moment is one that we should be willing to make for the rest of our lives. Then again, we make mistakes. Mistakes are part of it. I've made plenty. But you have to be honest, you have to own up to those mistakes, and you have to try to learn from them. Own up. So whatever decision you make, commit to it. Sometimes you'll be tempted to take an easier path. But I found that taking the easier path usually leads to a harder one later. When things aren't going well or you're feeling down, that's when it's most tempting to take the easy path. And you'll have moments of weakness, like I have had over the years. This is where willpower comes into play. Willpower is what helps you get through it. Here's one thing I know. You can check me on this one. Every successful person has committed themselves to their craft. I don't care if you're a basketball player, an artist, a mathematician, a scientist, a financial analyst, a sailor, or my wife. My wife owns a small chocolate shop, or a chocolatier. You have to commit to it. You have to put in the time. I'll tell you, it takes real willpower when I go into a chocolate shop not to put my face down into those vats of chocolate. The fact is, willpower is easy to talk about, but it's difficult to understand unless you've been there in that moment. When you're desperate, ready to give up, or have already given up. It's willpower that will force you to pull yourself up and get moving again. I can tell you with certainty that, for example, the toughest training I know, SEAL training, is not physical strength that gets these folks through. It's willpower. They press on. I had one of my biggest tests on USS Shoot when we pulled into Ketchikan, Alaska. And I had a day off. I saw a mountain. I decided I was going to climb it. I started getting higher and higher. And I got way too high. It was a bed. It was a mistake. I was on a steep incline. And I started traversing so that I could descend. As I started descending, I fell. I was under a heavy tree canopy. I heard my knee pop, and I was in excruciating pain. I laid there. It was getting dark. And for a moment, I thought, that's it. I'm done. I'm dead. And I really just sort of gave up. In my backpack, I had a can of Diet Coke and some Raisinets. Really smart. And next day, out here I was the combat systems officer on a guided missile destroyer, and I'm stuck laying on a hillside in Alaska. Well, after about 20 minutes of laying there, I decided maybe I could try and get up. It was willpower that pushed me through. I finally got to the bottom. It took me about 3 hours. It was dark. I got to the bottom. I got to this small convenience store. It was away from where I had left. I had left Ketchikan. I went to this small convenience store. And there was a young Native American man behind the counter. And I said, I was cut, muddy, and bleeding from this plant that was out there that kept attacking me, very thick underbrush. And I said to him, where am I? And very profoundly, he said, you are here. He was right. I was 3 miles from where I was supposed to be. A woman ended up giving me a ride back to Ketchikan. I got back on the ship. We got underway the next day. Unfortunately, I told everyone my story, and they used it against me for forever. But in the end, success is rarely achieved alone. And I've learned that any successes I've had can be attributed to those around me. And in large part, to people who've taken the time to help me, guide me, lead me, challenge me to be better. By the way, my mom is in the audience. Thank you, Mom. Make sure you share your successes with those who helped you. I've climbed mountains and rappelled off rocky crags in the Pacific Northwest as a trained mountaineer. After that incident in Alaska, I went to a 6-month course to learn how to actually climb and what to do. I've had cappuccino in Italy, cafe con leche in France, boiled coffee in Morocco, and the strongest tea that one could ever have in Kuwait that you can imagine. I've eaten horse meat in Spain, guinea pig in Peru, kangaroo in Australia, and grasshoppers in Mexico. Purchased rugs in Abu Dhabi, gold in Dubai, silk in Hong Kong, rubies in Thailand. I've crossed Gaddafi's line of death in the Gulf of Sidra. My ship was the first on the scene after the tsunami in Banda Aceh, where it killed more than 200,000 people. I've skied in the Pyrenees, not very well. I ate bread and cheese under the Bridge of Sighs in Venice. I gambled at a casino in Monte Carlo. And I've had little watches in Kuala Lumpur. And last but not least, I was able to accomplish what I never thought I would as a 17-year-old sitting where you are right now. It took me a while, but I graduated from college. I didn't get to Penn State until I'd been in the Navy for 11 years. Then a little later, I earned my master's degree, and then later I earned my PhD as principal mentioned. I struggled whether I wanted to tell you about that, and although I'm proud of my accomplishments, I don't want to sound like I'm boasting, but I felt it's important for you to know about these experiences and accomplishments because, graduates, I promise Each and every one of you will acquire your own unique collection of experiences and accomplishments throughout your life. So do I have any advice? Yeah, take opportunities when they're presented. If someone says to you, you want to go climbing? Yes, please. You want to go skiing? Yes, please. You want to tour New York City? Yes, please. And you have a bad experience? Well, don't do that again. Don't forget, I was sitting where you once are. These are experiences I never could have dreamed of in Wilmsdorf. But I stand here to tell you about them today because I chose a path and committed to it. I chose the Navy as my path. It's not the best path for everyone, but it's the best path for me. What is your path? You might not know yet. And if you're not sure, trust me, that's okay. I certainly don't know. If you're open and present in each moment, like Marcus Aurelius says, you won't have to find your path. It will find you. All you have to do is commit to it. And when you fall down, get back up. If there's a hand outstretched in front of you to help you, take it. If there isn't, find the willpower to get up anyway. Don't look back or dwell on what's behind you. Step right back onto the path and press on. Be persistent. Embrace each moment of your life as it's happening. You have only now, the present. The past is gone, the future is near you, and what you do now matters. As you just sang, change the world. I'm pretty sure Abraham Lincoln was the one who posted on Facebook, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. Make the years in your life count, because they do. Congratulations, Conrad Weiser High School class of 2016. Enjoy your summer.
We wanted to thank Commander Straub for coming out, for his busy schedule, coming out here and speaking to the graduates, and we got a plaque as a token of our appreciation. Thank you very much.